Okay, thank you very much, the viewers, and this is a review newspaper, and with us in the studio is Arek Deng, the CEO of Luol Foundation, and she's also a former basketball player. I think we can get more from her later. So let's go on. My name is Bulen, a reporter for C3V. Please, can you introduce yourself to us?
Yes, of course. My name is Arek Ajou Deng. As you said, I'm the CEO of the Luol Foundation. I've been doing this work for a very long time. And yes, I'm also a former basketball player.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation and for the interview.
Thank you.
So, we are here. We are going to discuss about the basketball in South Sudan, and you have been in the game before, and I think if there's something good for us, also you can make us know about that. So. We have been seeing a lot of work you have been doing, and all that the foundation has been doing, and you are the person behind. So, please, can you really tell us more about the foundation?
Yes, of course. You know, a lot of people don't know how far ago we started the work of the foundation. The foundation was registered in the USA in 2005. So while we were still called Southern Sudan at the time, we recognize and know the hardship that our people have faced over the years, and we are victims of that because we got to go outside on asylum. So we knew once Luol was drafted, we created the Luol Foundation a year later. We worked with big organizations such as UNICEF, and across from you here, Save the Children, and UNHCR, and all of these big organizations to try to deliver anything, life-saving objects to our people, whether they were in refugee camps or whether they were displaced within the country. We worked with communities in the US to see what we can do and what we can deliver. So we've done that work. We've also registered in the UK. We started basketball camps in the UK in 2005 onwards. Until today, we still deliver what we call the Deng Camp, which is now well over 15 years of doing this work. Also, we've started realizing that we needed to come home and do the work ourselves instead of working only with the international organizations. We continue to do our work with them when we can, but we also have come back home and started seeing what we need to do, how we can do it by ourselves, and that led to registering the foundation exclusively also in South Sudan. We can operate on the ground. So in South Sudan, we have built a basketball court within the University of Juba that was built in 2015. It's called the Luol Court, and of course, that's as a tribute to the late and legendary Luol, which we can get into it later, what Luol means to this country and what more young people need to know about him, even beyond the basketball court, as a human being, as somebody who put us on the map of the universe. People see us more, since Manut had already spoke about us in the NBA and fought for us to be where we are today. We've also done food relief initiatives. Most currently, people with disability. We've brought devices into South Sudan. We have done, we've done a lot of work we've rebuilt schools. We are working tirelessly at the Deng Academy, which is what takes place at the Luol Court, with way over 1,000 kids at the moment, but I think over the years we've reached more than 2,000 young people under the age of 23, I would say, between 6 and 23 years old. And what that does is also we're trying to find ways to say it's not just basketball, right? It's also education. It's also all the things that they learn by being amongst other people. It keeps kids out of trouble. It teaches them to work with other people. It teaches them to listen. It teaches them to be disciplined, to be on time, to work and work harder than you think that they should be working. So it encompasses a lot of things that help young people grow, which is what we normally call soft skills, right? Soft and life skills. They learn a lot of ways to take care of each other and become one family, as in South Sudanese family, through the dismantlation of, we dismantle all the myths of you only belong to one group in this country. First and foremost, we are South Sudanese. We have two official languages, English and Arabic, and Arabic at that. So when you go into our court, when you go through the fence, you're no longer allowed to speak those languages because we are one inside here. You're not so-and-so from my village, or you're not so-and-so from my tribe. You are another player just like me, and you're another South Sudanese just like me.
Thank you. Maybe our viewers want to know who you are. Right? That's about your school life.
Okay.
To say.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my school life, I finished high school, university. In university I did a bachelor degree in international relations, and I have 2 minor degrees. So my major degree is international relations. My 2 minor degrees are African Studies and African American Studies. I did my schooling at the University of Delaware in the USA while I played Division I basketball. I received honors in those programs. And also I have a master's degree in development and refugee studies from London South Bank University, where I was the first in the program and I won the Dean's Award for that study. So that's my background. I've also worked different jobs. I worked for the London Olympics in 2012 as a coordinator for African nations. I worked with UNHCR. I worked for an organization called Rapid Results Institute, which the aim of Rapid Results is pushing frontline to be the one to come up with solutions. So I've worked in places such as, we worked with Veteran Affairs in the US, we worked with NHS in the UK, I've worked for the government of the UAE to establish something called the Government Accelerators. I've worked in Sierra Leone, in South Africa, in China, in Turkey, so
wow,
that's me. That's who I am.
2 minutes.
Yes.
That's good. But now, you have been a former player. How did you manage with the school also? At the same time you have been playing. How was it?
That's one of the things basketball teaches you, right? Being part of sport, everyone finds time to do different things when you go to school. You find time to hang out with your friends, you find time to do all of these things. My thing was basketball. Basketball was a positive thing, but in order for me to play basketball at that level, I was held accountable by my parents, by my coaches, by my teachers to make sure that I still do well. And I love going to school and I love reading. So I needed to find a balance. The biggest thing to do was to find balance, right? When you play sports and you have a passion for something else other than school, you have to find balance. You find time to do your work. You find time to excel. And if you push yourself and want to be excellent at the things that you do, you will find time. There's 24 hours in a day. It's just how you manage those 24 hours. So for me, it was really always important for me to achieve my academic pursuits, but it was also really important for me to do well within the sport. And we grew up in a family where we competed on those things, right? We said who got good results and who was doing what in basketball, and we played together and made ourselves better in that way. So that's the best way to find balance. You have to find balance within your days.
Thank you very much. You know, I've been attending some functions, and one function in Juba I attended when you addressed the audience, when you touched something about how basketball helps South Sudanese abroad and to be known to the world. Can you briefly tell us some of the opportunities that?
Absolutely. Yes. Really, a lot of us have been displaced and we've gone all over the world. One of the first people that have brought us together in basketball is as I mentioned earlier, is the late Luol. Manud was the first South Sudanese to be in the NBA, right? Granted, he was 7'7", but Manud can actually play basketball really well. Manud was a leader on the floor. Manud spoke about South Sudan tirelessly. Manud gave his resources back to the country to help us be where we are today with peace, which is another element of him that a lot of people don't know. So while he was playing in the NBA, Manud came to Egypt when we were young, right? And he would actually do basketball clinics for young people, and he would do basketball clinics for girls also. So he encouraged some of us to actually start looking at basketball as something that we can do as young girls. And then now you look at the communities. One of the things a lot of young people, of course you have Luol who made it to the NBA, you have Thon McHale, you have Gabriel, you have Ajou Deng, you have who's at the WNBA. So we have young people who are playing basketball. But then you look at college basketball. In the US, for example, we have a huge number of players, boys and girls, or should I say men and women who are playing right now. High school, we also have a lot of people. You go to Australia, you see a lot of young men and women playing basketball. Basketball has saved our life per se, right? It really gave us somewhere to go to, and a lot of young people could have been in so much more trouble. And also there's some young people that have left from our program here, or left from other programs that other South Sudanese are doing around the continent, and they are in universities and in playing for clubs in Europe, playing for clubs in East Africa or even within Africa, or within the Middle East. We are becoming a household name in the basketball conversation.
But was it as a scholarship, or how did that opportunity come to this Sudanese?
It's scholarship. A lot of those who are playing in the US, I can attest to this because I was one of those people, right? So in my family, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us in my own family who have gained basketball scholarships in different ways. So me and Luol gained basketball scholarship in 1999. Following our brother. So we had an older brother, his name is Joe, who was an All-American. He went out to America on a basketball scholarship, went to high school and went to university. While he was there, a couple of years later, Luol and I went to a school called Blair Academy on a basketball scholarship. I went to university on a basketball scholarship. I did my master's on a basketball scholarship.
But how does that one mean to South Sudan?
What does it mean to South Sudan?
How these opportunities now?
Now, a lot of people are coming here. It's a conversation now that if you really want to get good basketball players, look at South Sudan. So there's young people that have left from here on basketball scholarships. So what we have been doing, and some other people have been doing it. So I want people out there to know that we're not claiming to be the first to do it. There's a lot of South Sudanese coaches and ex-players who are helping a lot of young people right now land a school. So a school, we will contact a school, or a school will contact us, the individuals, and say, hey, I'm looking for a player in this position, what do you guys have? So then you look at the guys we have here, you have to make sure the kids go to school. When you get a scholarship, it means that you already are attending a school here, you're doing well in school, you're of a certain age if it's a high school that's looking for you. And then you go through a process of the school sending you applications, you apply to the school, you get an interview. It's a really rigorous process in that way. And then you will go to an interview at the embassy after you've done all your work, right? So a lot of our kids sometimes also can't afford that, so we try to see how we can facilitate funding to help them do that. Also, you can be lucky and find somebody nice at the embassy and get your visa, or some people get denied and you have to try again and try again. So we have a wealth of young people who have been denied, but they're still in the country or in East Africa and so on. So it's a process that people have to go through to get that, but you can't go to America on a basketball scholarship without having an academic background. It's school and basketball go hand in hand in the US. And we hope that we can do that here, so not so many kids feel the need to go out also.
Okay, but how do you take a South Sudan basketball now compared to the previous days back? Especially like recently when we visited Rwanda,
Yeah.
I think we have been ranked high
Yes.
among the best rated countries.
Yes.
How do you look at that?
The way I look at that is we always had the talent, right? We haven't had the backing of some huge funding. We're young, we're only 10 years old. People forget that South Sudan is only 10 years old. So sometimes we want things to happen a lot faster. Where we are now is solely because, you know, some of the young people, when they go out, sometimes we figure out divisions to say, these are the people at home and you guys are the people who are out. But those people who are out, they're also South Sudanese. They didn't choose to go out. They have gone out because of the situation that we had faced before we gained our independence. Now they have the experiences that we need to have here. So when they go out and represent us, they are South Sudanese, they are born in these countries. They are some majority of the players, if you look at their background. I don't think there was even one that was born in the West. They were all either born here in South Sudan, they're born in Khartoum, in displacement, or they're born in some of the refugee camps here. So we now have a wealth of players who are experienced, and we have some good players at home too. We just don't have the facilities. If we had the facilities, we'd be ranked higher than number 5 in Africa. So what I think Luol and the South Sudan Basketball Federation, and I want to make it clear, we're the Luol Deng Foundation. We've existed since 2005. Luol has just become the president of South Sudan Basketball Federation in 2019, right? And since he's done that, there's been movement in the trajectory, because also we were once the kids that were outside. I played for Great Britain. Do you understand? Playing for Great Britain, it was great. That's the country that took me in, and I'm grateful for that, and I loved it. But there is a thing about playing for your own country, for your own bloodline, for representing the colors of South Sudan, wearing our flag, doing all of these things is such an amazing win. So the win is not only just because we are ranked in basketball, it's also because we are positively seen by the rest of the world. People are talking about us, because normally when we sit down for interviews, is, oh, is your country safe? Is your country this? Now it's like, wow, you guys are so good, you guys have this going on, and now we can talk about all the positiveness of being South Sudanese. So that's what I feel that this basketball movement has done for us, that the world is seeing us more than just war children.
have Arek Deng. Sorry for that. Yeah. We are still discussing about basketball and the challenges. Tell us some of the challenges that are facing basketball.
Some of the challenges that are facing basketball, there's plenty of challenges. First, it started with, we see that a few more basketball courts are available, but the quality of the courts that we have right now, also quality of more programs that are funded. You know, we can do what we can, right? But we're only one organization. If there's more organizations that are actually set up for basketball right now, they need more funding. The more funding, the more we can do. We need to improve our coaching levels and understand how to do that. We don't produce any uniforms, basketball kit in the country. So a lot of our young people don't have access to the right uniform that they need. A lot of our kids don't have shoes. We get shoes donated to us. Most of the shoes that are donated are normally huge and big for a lot of our kids. So the kids that are bigger would get, and the younger kids don't have. Funding. Funding is the biggest challenge. Secondly is safety, right? And safety is around parents not feeling safe for their kids to be out of the house, right? So transportation, getting kids to places. One of my hopes is eventually one day we can have a few buses that belong to the foundation. We have accredited kids that can scan and get on those buses. They can go to school, they can get back home, they can go play. They become kids and they don't have to worry. Some of our kids are not getting enough nutrition, right? Nutritional meals. We try to give them juices, whatever we have a budget for, we will do. But if there's a way for us to maybe when kids come there, they have meals and so on, it will be very helpful in that way. So those are the things that really I see as the biggest challenge. Also school. A lot of the kids that come there, they could go to school for a year, but then they might not have enough school fees. We try to pay for as many kids as we can, but also that goes back to funding. The more funding, the more we can be able to. What can be done? First, we have to keep it in a positive way. We have to talk about what basketball brings. You know, when you think of sport, and I'm gonna now generalize because we are who we are. People only talk about basketball, but football does this, volleyball does this, tennis does this, judo does this, boxing does this. If you allow your children to play sports, it opens them up for so much more. So you see me sitting here and I'm confident. Most of my confidence I got from being in sports, right? You get to speak up in sports. You have to communicate with your teammates, so you learn to communicate. You have to work with other people, so you learn to be versatile. You learn to listen to your coaches. You learn consequences. If you don't show up on time, you don't play. If you're not nice to the coach, you don't play. If you can be suspended, you learn a lot of underlying things that takes you into the world and make you a better place, but really accountability. When you build those leaders on those things, the future is bright. We're going to have accountable leaders. We're going to have leaders who deliver on time. We're going to have leaders who communicate. We're going to have peacemakers in our communities because of these things. So what can be done is we need to look at what more things is supposed to bring onto the table that really motivate our kids. A lot more kids will be out of the street and doing something positive with their time. A lot of kids will be off of drugs if we provide them those safe places. I see basketball as a safe space. I see every sport as a safe space because once you enter the family of that space, they take care of you, no matter who you are. It doesn't matter how tall, how short, how big, how thin, what tribe you come from, what color, how light or dark your skin color is, how long or short your hair is. It doesn't matter. You're my family now, and we take care of each other. So you become part of a very positive, loving family.
Okay, let's take us to, recently you launched the first ever girls tournament, basketball tournament. Can you please tell us more about that?
Yeah, I'd love to see. I'm smiling. I love anything that encourages our girls. As you know, in our communities and in our countries, in all of Africa too, girls and women are the last in the agenda, right, of everything. And this really displays first it shows you the tenacity of our girls. Some of these girls have been playing for 5 or 6 years. They've been playing with the boys. They will show up to practices. A lot of them have been developed by Coach Hadaf there at Ajou Deng. I remember going to some of the first practices in 2013 where he had girls there, and basically a lot of people have been putting work, but it's never come together, right? And my passion was to see a girls' league in this country. It's a lot of people's passion. I know that a young lady named Arek Ajou Deng, who is part of the national team now and she lives in the US, she's been trying to drive this for years to come now. So it's not something that we just thought about, it's something that has been needed. So we have over 180 girls registered at the Luol Deng Foundation's Deng Academy, right, in Juba. But about 80 of them have been playing for a long time. So these 88 plus girls are now in 8 teams where they have competition, they have games every week. Please come, these girls are playing every single week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. Come and just see how amazing they are. They can move, they have handles, they can shoot the ball, and also they have somewhere they go to positively. And it's a place for them to learn. We're going to look at finding them scholarships. A lot of those girls have just finished their senior 4, and they all pass with flying colors. They are intelligent girls. Nothing takes away from them being girls and becoming women. They just have an extra place to learn all of those other stuff that our boys are also learning.
But how are you motivating them?
They're motivating us, not even us.
No, is there something that foundation can give to them? Because play or for the tournament or for the league, at least there's something you give to them.
They're going to get the same treatment all of our boys get, right? So they now have their own uniform. They're not using the same uniform the boys are using. They got the newest uniform that we have now. The boys have uniforms from 3 years ago, for example. They have brand new uniforms. A few of them we've managed to get them a pair of shoes so far. They have girl-sized basketball. They have their games coming. At the end of the year, every year we do at the academy. We haven't done it the last year because of COVID, but we have an end of year celebration of the league itself. So now we have 3 leagues. We have what we call the Luol Development League for boys who are 17 and up. We have another league, 17 and down. It's called the Luol Deng Development League. And now we have the girls' league. It's called Her League. And Her stands for Her Elevation and Relevance. So we want to use this game to elevate them and to show the country that they are relevant to everything that the country is all about. So at the end of the year, we'll have an end of year celebration of the whole year. They'll have an all-star game, just like the boys will have 2 all-star games. They'll have skill session, and then we give away a lot of stuff. We give away laptops, we give away school supplies. So the top kids, the kids that the coaches vote for, not only for basketball abilities, for attitude, for being on time, for being a team player, for all of these things, is opened up for them to get prizes. So what I can say is for anybody who's watching who wants to help us with those things, we need funding for that end of year tournament. We funded it ourselves over the year, but now as you see, we are growing. Now we have the Girls League. The number of kids that are coming are growing too. And we want to be able, we'll give away scholarships, we give away laptops, we give away backpacks, we give away, everything that we give away has to do with your growth into the world as a human being.
So So, is there plans to extend it in some states, or it is only in Juba?
So we've always wanted to extend outside of Juba, right? We understand Juba is the metropolitan place right now. We started developing this, and it's growing even further than we could have dreamt of. For us, it's like if you affect one person positively, and this is Luol's motto. Luol is like, if I can change someone's life, one person shows up to the court that I've built, it's over. Right? So now we have thousands of kids. What we've done to start kickstarting, identifying what's going on in the state, we've created a new program under the foundation called, what is it called? Time to Rise. And Time to Rise is basically, Time to Rise is figuring out a way to rise together with all the states, right? So we've now identified 18 basketball courts around the whole country. We've gone out to Wow, we've gone to Ye, we've gone to Bor, we've gone to Awin, we've gone to, oh my God, so many places. Even around here in Juba, we've gone to Raja, and we went there. We were sponsored with uniforms and basketballs from the Chicago Bulls and Duke University. Duke University is where Luol went for university, so they've always been allies and they work with us. Luol played for the Chicago Bulls for 10 years, as you guys are aware, and we have an amazing relationship. So they've donated all of these things to us, and it was a lot of things. So it helped us go out. We gave them some T-shirts and so on, and some basketballs. But furthermore, we've taken some of our coaches, because they've been trained as coaches, to go train other coaches there. So they can now develop it in the right way. Our hope is to be able to get more funding and fix their courts, and also be able to put something like this, because if we're able to pay school fees for the kids, that means the school has money coming in, which means the teachers can then be better and they're getting their salaries. It means the economy gets better. So it's not just on the basketball court, you have to think beyond to the whole country. Pay school fees for a kid that comes to play basketball means the school is getting money, it means the teacher is getting paid, it means the school system is getting better, more kids are teaching, and then our numbers go up, because in our country right now, only 27%, the statistic says 27% of young people, youth, over the age of 15 are literate. Only 27%. That means 73% in this country over the age of 15 cannot read or write. And we need to do something about that. And if sports we can use sports as a tool to get us there, great, but also we need to think about what we're doing to empower our schools, to empower our teachers, and to empower families who can't afford to get their kids to school. So we want to go to every stage. The dream is to be able to reach every single state and create the same program, because this is the pilot. Now we know how to do it. Now let's think about how do we take it somewhere else.
Okay, lastly, maybe your last message to the viewers.
My last message, I always say this: be kind to other people and be kind to yourself. All of us are doing the best that we can for our country. All of us love this country as much as we can. Allow your children, allow young people, boys and girls, to explore more than just what is in front of them. Basketball can be one avenue, football, anything. Help those of us who are coming. Help us help more people, and anything you can do. If you bring a bucket of water to the court, we're there every day from 3 p.m. If you bring a bucket of water, you've helped. So don't think that you can't help. If you're a doctor and you can volunteer some time for us, where you can check on some of those kids, check their health, because we get a lot of young kids who get sick also, so we need ways to find to find fees to get them to the doctor, because we wouldn't sleep well if they don't get the health care that they needed. If anything anything that you think, if you're a tutor, oh, this is another thing, we want to start tutoring classes. We want some of our kids to learn to read and write and learn mathematics. So if you're somebody who's passionate about teaching kids, come to our office and please, please, please let us know what it is that you want to do. If you want to do math classes every Saturday, we'll do math classes every Saturday because we want our kids to learn. If you want to do English classes, whatever it is that you could do, whether it's something that you're just volunteering your time or you're volunteering an object or you're volunteering money, you would help one person or two or maybe even all of those kids. And that is how our country is going to grow, upon us working together. So let's work together.
Thank you very much. Our viewers, that's the end of also my game. You can always follow our YouTube, City Review, and you get more. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.